PPF isn't cheap. So what parts should we prioritize? We're gonna start with the most necessary and then work our way down to, I guess, like the most expensive as well. If you're watching this video, you're probably already understanding of what PPF is, but if you haven't, it stands for paint protection film. And pretty much in a nutshell, it's a thick polyurethane film that protects your paint. And over the years, in the last decade, paint has thinned out, which means that it's more prone to chipping or damaging. So that being said, that's the reason why you want to protect your vehicle with PPF. If you want to learn more about PPF in depth, we have a lot of videos that we've created in the past, and we're gonna link it down below. So take the time to check it out as well. We're gonna start with the most necessary, what I consider as not only just as a shop owner, but as a Tesla owner and a person that loves cars and protecting their cars. Tesla specifically have a pretty crazy 0 to 60, which also means that it spits out a lot of rocks when the tires rotate. So that being said, the rockers get absolutely destroyed. For that reason, for some models like the Model S, they actually install the paint protection film, which is what we call a mini rocker, because it's not the full rocker, but just that area that is high impact. They actually install it from the factory. So if anything, if your car or vehicle does not have that, I would highly recommend absolutely protecting the mini rocker, which is like right in front of the rear tires. Other areas, especially if you have kids, is going to be your door sill. So the door sill actually already has a plate. For example, the Model 3 and Y has, I guess, like a trapezoidal shape right there. But then around that area is paint, and if you want to, I mean, that's a pretty high traffic area where you go in and out, in and out. So you're going to step on that, and if you want to protect the interior of that, that's another area we highly recommend. Lastly, another high wear area or necessity is going to be your trunk ledge. We love traveling as a family. We get our luggage or carry-on and we go back and forth on the Model 3. That's gonna hit that trunk ledge all the time, which means that it could chip, it could damage. These typically don't cost a whole lot. So if anything, those are the areas that I would consider most essential. What's after that? So I think this is going to be, from a shop perspective, this is going to be the most common thing that a shop owner or any shop will sell. And a lot of them have different names for it, but I'm going to use the most standard, which is a front kit, front package. Sometimes they call it like basic package. And front kit package is typically the hood, the front bumper, the fender, the mirror, headlights. And I know it's called paint protection film. Headlights are not cheap on a Tesla. I think it's definitely over $1,000, and to replace it is expensive. It also has risk of oxidization and other things. It could get a little crustier, you know. So the paint protection film will also help prolong the life of the headlight as well. And the reason being this is the most popular that shop owners sell is because the front of the car, especially in America where there's a lot of highway driving, front bumper just gets absolutely demolished, right? That car is fairly new, and I actually had 2 chips on the hood that came from just a travel that I went over 300 miles. And that was prior to us protecting it. So it can chip really easily. So the other benefit that I didn't mention too about paint protection film that it has is actually from the elements. And elements from like bug guts, bird poop, and some of those things that I mentioned is very highly acidic. Whatever the bird is, it's not great. Whatever the bug guts are consistent of, not great. So when those minerals and those things sit on that vehicle for long periods of time, it can do something called etching, but it eats into the clear coat, whereas if you have paint protection film, it actually has that physical layer where it will etch the film instead of the vehicle. So later down the line, maybe 5 years down the line, you want to sell it, you peel it off, it's going to be in a very, very good condition. And I'm going to talk about upsells that shops will also do. Is one of the more common ones that they'll do is they're going to do the A pillar, which is right by the windshield. And that typically is a smaller section, so it's not typically in the basic package or the front package. The other one that I think they're going to push is going to be the full rockers. And on a Model 3, it's pretty low to the ground, much lower than the Model Y, which means that that area, over like a year, it will absolutely chip. It will get, if you have like a red car, for example, it chips fairly quickly, and you can see it, especially when you get closer up. Going back to the mini rocker that I said is the most essential, if you do a full rocker, I think you'll have peace of mind that that area is going to stay protected. So the step up to those things, if you're in a city, like a very, very highly densely populated city, and like New York or California or somewhere like that, I feel like this is a common one that our customers ask is like, do we need to have like I want something for my door, like I'm at work and people just keep dinging my door all the time, and if that's the case, I would highly recommend putting paint protection film on your doors. That way, when you get a door ding, it's not as damaging as it would be if you didn't have anything there. But those are really the next area that I think is a step up from the front package. So the last, and I think the most ultimate protection would be full body PPF. And typically, this is extensive. This is a whole shebang, right? Like it's every single square inch of the exterior is going to be protected. For people who want really the peace of mind that their whole car is protected and they don't have to worry about really anything, right? The other reason is going to be if you wanted to change the color of the vehicle. So colored PPF has really taken off this year, honestly, and last year. And if you want to do color PPF or a matte conversion where you change the color of your vehicle into a flatter look, then you definitely want to do a full body. You don't want to do just the front and then leave the rest of it in a different color, right? So that's another reason why you want to do it. In the perspective of a Tesla owner, I'm gonna like switch my hat from like shop to an actual owner. I think I typically don't actually recommend this, mainly because I think it's a lower return or an investment later down the line. So I'm gonna give the analogy of like a phone being protected. So let's say you go to Facebook, you wanna buy a new iPhone or a new phone, and the seller says, hey, I put a screen protector on the first day that I got it, and I've had this case since I bought it. When you think about that, it gives the buyer a peace of mind, and you'll be like, wow, okay, if that person did that, it should be good. I don't really have to worry about it. Compared to like, I threw it, I dropped it 17 times, and then it just, you look at a phone, and it just doesn't look as pristine as they want it to be. But then you have to outweigh that, right? Like if you have a phone case isn't $5,500 or $7,000. I mean, it's literally like $20, $30. So I think it makes sense in that because the percentage of how much you paid will outweigh like later down the line what you get, because now you can get more money when you sell your phone or whatever you're selling because you invested some of that money and then later on you could potentially get it back, right? So if you're selling to a dealer or Tesla, this doesn't matter, by the way. Like the PPF, they don't really care about it. But if you're selling a private party, it does, to me, I think it matters a lot, and I've seen that happen. So I think for people who want to buy a Tesla, they want to protect it, they want to ride it out for a long time, the full body is absolutely, I think, very, very useful, right? Because they're not really going to sell it. They don't have to worry about losing the value of that. They're going to keep it clean. It's going to be easier to keep clean and just clean in general, and it's protected from all the elements and all those things. Then I highly recommend it. But if you're a person that buys every 2-3 years, I typically would, again, recommend the front package compared to like the full package. I just want you to figure out like, what do you want to do? Like, how long do you want to keep the car? How do you drive? Where do you want to take it? Like, some of those variables matter. Like, if you live in, I have had customers that live like out in the country and they have to take like a dirt road every day. They're like, I want full body protection. My car's gonna be destroyed. Totally, that makes total sense. It just depends on what you're looking for. So that's the first question that I would ask if you're trying to figure out, should I get Essentials? Should I get front protection or front protection plus? Or should I get full body? Or should I get doors? All those things, I think. So you have to ask that question. And then once you ask that question, I think the answer is a lot clearer for you. With all that being said, you're going to want to factor some variables, right? So cost is going to be a factor. So I guess the way you should look at this is more surface that you cover, the more expensive it's going to be, right? So you're going to go from front package, $2,400 all the way to like $6,000, going to a full package. So you have to outweigh that, right? The other thing is, are you going to do a professional install or do yourself? And those change, right? Like Pro is always going to be much more convenient, I guess, but also much more expensive. So you have to outweigh that as well. The brand of film, so if you're going Pro, typically the Pro will tell you what's good. That's what you're paying a Pro to do. But if you're doing do-yourself, just keep in mind you want to go with someone that has a branded film that has a good reputation. So for example, for us, we're Avery Denizen Shop. We use a lot of their stuff. We also use 3M, we use S-Tech. We really just use like really well established films. And if we don't, we test the crap out of it before we do. So that's something to keep in mind. And then lastly, also you want to think about maintenance. So, how much time do you want to spend cleaning your car? If it's not a lot, then PPF is a perfect, solution for you, because it has a layer and it also cleans a little bit better, way better actually, because it has a top coat as well, which means that it has a hydrophobic layer, which makes things a lot easier to clean. So whether you're trying to protect just the essentials or you're going to do a full body, PPF is really the best way to protect your vehicle from all the elements and all those things. We hope that this helped you make your decision a little bit faster. If this video helped you, let us know in the comments below of where you decided to protect your Tesla. Please subscribe and we'll see you later.